Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The merchant of death, Mr. Viktor Baut, the guy who was exchanged for the basketball player, remember? He had his first interview with the Russian media. Obviously, he will say anything at this point because he owes Putin and he owes the current Russian government his life, or at least he owes about 10 years, 11 years of his life. Why? Because that's how much more he had to spend in the US prison. If it wasn't for the basketball player that the Americans could not allow to stay in Russian prison because she was a national treasure somehow. You can see a country's values by its priorities. Anyway, I made enough videos about this. Greener, whatever her name is, Brittany Griner. And let's talk about this guy. I would like you to understand that I know that Viktor here knows who he should not upset and who he should praise, okay? So it's not like I'm a tard saying, oh my god, this is him saying that from his heart. Maybe, but I'm mindful that he might just say whatever he knows is needed to be said in this kind of circumstances. Like Greener will say when she's going to be interviewed and she's going to become a billionaire in about 2 years with about 3 books written and invited to all the big weasels who are waiting for her to feel better so they can invite her so she can take a shit on everything Russian. And anyway, so this article comes from Yahoo News by Alexander Nazarian from today, the 12th of December 2022. Russian arms dealer Viktor Baut speaks out after Brittany Griner swap. Sitting in a Moscow studio as snow fell outside, looking relaxed in a blue blazer and maroon t-shirt. Well, I'm working on improving this channel and I will provide with proper pictures and videos pretty soon. I'm talking about this year. And I have what? About what? 18 days or so? So, sitting in the Moscow studio as well as snow fell outside, looking relaxed in a blue blazer and maroon t-shirt, Russian arms dealer Viktor Baut described his 14 years in US prison in his first interview since he was exchanged for American basketball player Brittany Griner. I will say Greener, fucker, who has been held in a Russian prison colony following a drug conviction earlier this year. Names to me are not, oh my god, you have to pronounce it like this. I mean, my name in the United States is called whatever, and I understand it is not easy to pronounce it, so I don't even expect. If you think that your character stays in how people pronounce your name, you got a little problem over there. It's what you are, not how people pronounce your name. And I'm an immigrant, so hey, you gotta give me a pass, remember? Don't make fun of my country of origin, I'll sue you. Oh my god. So, for Brittany Griner, who has been held in a Russian prison colony following a drug conviction earlier this year. She was held over there for about a week and a half. The rest, she was in a jail, and then she was transferred. So, hey, Kazakhstan, Nazarian, Mr. Armenian, be careful. I know you don't like Russians, but it's okay. And I'm quoting, "The whole world basically is a game," end quote, he said, describing the lessons he said he learned from reading Eastern philosophy. Now, this is what he said. I would like you to maybe go into his brain of whatever he says. What you say is not necessarily what you really feel, okay? I got that. A notorious arms dealer with alleged, that means unproven, ties to Russia security services, Bout was arrested in Thailand in 2008 and extradited to the United States in 2010. A federal indictment charged him with conspiracy to kill Americans by selling weapons to Colombian guerrillas. That means the Russians should charge Pentagon for providing Ukrainian military with weapons to kill Russians? There's no conspiracy, there's right there, action. Yes, according to this, yes. Each and every person who made the decision, Lloyd Austin, Mark Milley, that means they should be indicted by the Russians for providing, not conspiracy, not conspiring, providing, determining, making decisions to provide these guys weapons to kill the Russians. You tell me it was for the good cause? Nevertheless, you provided to kill me. So for me, you're a criminal, aren't you? I mean, judging by the same thing, by the same logic here. Kill Americans by selling weapons to Colombian guerrillas. Yeah, you want to kill my Americans? I will designate you as a whatever you are. And that's what they did. And I'm quoting, there was nothing Baut said of those charges. He was also accused of selling weapons to Taliban. Accused is not proven. Accuse him, just say, hey, I think you're an asshole. I think you committed a crime. Okay, Emil, provide the evidence. I'm just accusing you, but I'm not going to provide evidence. That's zero. Accusations are zero unless proven in a court of law. Anyway, selling weapons to Taliban in Afghanistan as well as to oppressive African regimes. Who's talking? The Americans are talking about that? Providing weapons to oppressive regimes. I think the United States provided to oppressive regimes many weapons for many years. Should I start a list? I will keep you here 10 minutes just reading them. The 2005 film Lord of War, starring Nicolas Cage, is a glamorized retelling of his notorious exploits. Yeah, Hollywood. Okay, Hollywood with a Mr. Coppola. That's Mr. Cage. That's his name, Coppola, and he's Jewish as well. What a coincidence, man. Because they're good. That's why. Bout went to trial in 2011 in New York City, convicted of terrorism charges. He was slated to remain in prison until 2029. In his interview after last week's early release, he suggested that his federal defense attorney had tried to romantically seduce him, crudely simulating her appearance with hand gestures. Well, what the hell is going on with this guy here? Well, they try whatever. The interview aired on RT, a state-run Russian television network, and was conducted by Marina Butina, a Russian spy who was expelled from the United States in 2019 after spending more than a year behind bars. Those Russians are all pieces of shit, I guess, according to these guys. In the interview, Bout described his time in solitary confinement as especially harrowing. Yes, that was panic. Yes, it was very difficult, but also complained about American prison food, lamenting his inability to access garlic or fresh herbs. Well, what can you do? Let me say here what he says exactly about Greener. Greener was, he was hailed, the Merchant of Death, as hero of our time. Hero of our time read a description of the RT interview posted on YouTube. In that interview, Baut was eager to play the role of national martyr. Everything that happens, and I'm quoting, everything that happens to me is now happening to our country, he said, alluding to the international condemnation of Russian invasion of Ukraine. Okay, and he said, I'm quoting, I am proud that I'm a Russian and that Putin is our president. I honestly don't understand why we didn't do this earlier, end quote, he said, of the unprovoked attack on Ukraine. Bout also launched into a series of culture war attacks not dissimilar from those made by Biden critics on Fox News and elsewhere. Did you hear that? So there's other bad news as well. Now, I'm quoting Mr. Baut. In America right now, there is reverse racism. To be a normal white person who wants a family, who wants children, who wants to love is very difficult, end quote, Baut said at one point. He also criticized efforts to find and prosecute organizations and perpetrators of the violent riot at the U.S. Capitol that sought to overturn the results of 2020 presidential election. And I'm citing Baut. Look at what they did to the participants of the so-called armed insurrection of January 6th, end quote, he said, effectively mirroring the arguments of the, everybody else who at Fox News, I'm guessing. So here is what this guy is saying. As I said before, he in the position where he is at, he's gonna be loyal till death to the people who helped him save 11 years of his life, or maybe die in prison, who knows. So what do you think about it? I mean, he's not a good guy, after all, doing what he did with arms. I don't think he was a employee of the defense minister or defense department in Russian Federation. Therefore, every little, I got like a hunchback here. What's going on? All the accusations against him, level that he did this, did that, could be true. I don't know. He got indicted. He got convicted. He served 14 years, and now he's free, and he's gonna talk smack. Well, wouldn't you? If he thinks that, or at least wants to give the appearance that he was unjustly incarcerated, then yeah, he's gonna go full force. But he knows who he should not upset, or he should be grateful, because he should be grateful to Putin and the Russians, or maybe more grateful to Greener and more grateful to the American idiots who agreed to this kind of swap, because that's a bad deal. I mean, however you want to take it, who Greener is, and sports, and blah, blah, Olympian in basketball, after all, she's a basketball player. Okay, I mean, she didn't invent the cure of cancer or anything like that will create something else. She's a good basketball player, hates America. She can do that if she wants. A free country with free people. Blah, 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 if you know what I mean. But on the other hand, you exchange for this monster? Really? And I did monster because, I don't know, I see other monsters that are still, in charge of certain departments that sell more weapons than this guy ever dreamt, to more groups and countries that have dictatorship and oppressive governments, and so oppressive juntas and kings and queens and all that. And this guy did. Yeah, okay, well, he did something that was not okay. Well, why not? Are going to punish the other ones? No, why? So I dislike when justice is preferential. There's no justice. That's why I want to say, I'm a social justice warrior. No, you're a justice warrior. You're not a social justice warrior. But anyway, what do you expect? People that never read the Iliad, or I don't know, the Trojan horse, the Trojan War, or I don't know, Plato or Aristotle. What do you expect with these people? Don't even know who these guys are. They ask you, hey, what movie did they play in or something? That's a culture. Jesus Christ. Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.